Michael W. Ford. Today I'm going to discuss Ahrimanian or Ahrimanic Yoga. The purpose of yoga from a Luciferian perspective is to, first of all, center yourself and understand the disciplines that are needed in the practice of Luciferian magic, to what I've called Therionic magic, which is atavisms or dream control, the subconscious, to Yotukan sorcery. Yotukan sorcery is all levels of what people would call lower sorcery or basic short-term goals, things you want to achieve or overcome. Luciferianism takes a different approach to the process of magical attainment and control, because it takes you away from all of the exterior factors which are usually operating within ourselves as a type of fantasy as to what our obstacles are, what our problems are. Luciferians don't look to all these different elements outside of the self as the cause of necessarily the problem or the issue. It's usually a core inherent trait or belief that we have restricted ourselves within. Usually through moralistic or morality, religion, etc., monotheism. Luciferianism takes that away and really gives you back the accountability and the control to accomplish all those things over a period of time in what your goals are. You are the only God that is, and your daemon is the guiding or instinctual inherent desire which will get you there. Let's first talk about, if you take my work, Adversarial Light, Magic of the Nephilim. It's a very basic grimoire, and it was structured in a way that could, if you follow it step by step, will guide you on your path of initiation. The first aspect of beginning in magic is mental control. Mental control is very important because it's establishing a pattern of command and control over your conscious and unconscious functions. It's a very boring basic start, but it's very important. The mind has to be trained to conform to the perceived will, the direction in which your senses find a pleasing outcome. Now, understanding your basic thoughts, the self is often a chaotic city of endless corridors, disasters, with a few calm, coherent moments. But as we know, with every thought that we make, energy is created. So our thoughts create energy. This is a basic scientific understanding. If you take this and put it within the concept of magic, it's absolutely spot on with what we are gearing towards in initiation. It's a blending of science and magic, the same. Now, meditation is about creating a calming sense of harmony or order within your environment. Using incense, candles, visual surroundings, and all these things will start you off well. But over time, you must establish a pattern in which you can do this when all of the crazy environmental things around you cannot be changed. If you're in a place you don't want to be in, if you are standing in a line for extensive time, if you have babies crying near you, people complaining, you should be able to close your eyes and make it all go away. The basic practices of yoga will establish this. It's called Ahrimanian or Ahrimanic Yoga because it calls to the 7 chakra points, but also crowned with the prince of this world, the archetype of Ahriman, the Lord of Darkness. This is reaching out to our higher sense of self. It's not supplication to anything outside of the self. Understanding my terms of symbolism, which is a very basic concept, must be understood by all those approaching Luciferianism to get the subtleties of what I'm saying in a more basic context. Now, first step is physical control. Physical control is possible once the brain is able to control the body. Once you've been able to sit for a period, you will want to allow your body to loosen up in this process. You should visualize each limb healing and becoming rejuvenated with every passing breath. You should also increase your time daily and go at it more intensely as it becomes painful. This needs to be within your realm of practice of your daily routine. So work it into your routine. Don't do it just for a few days and then move on to something else. That's the laziness and undisciplined behavior and thought patterns I'm trying to focus people against. Power is your goal, wisdom, insight, but power is essential, and that begins with control of thoughts and body. Now, understand that perception, as I wrote in Adversarial Light, defines your outlook on reality. How you think, how you approach things, even unconsciously with habits and things that you automatically do, defines your present and your future. Now, Luciferianism is aimed at bringing that awareness. That's why we have the Church of, the Greater Church of Lucifer, and we have all of my countless books. It's this basic concept, people, that you have to apply from an interior controlling aspect in order to illuminate yourself, to gain that insight. So yoga is an essential tool in training the mind and establishing a foundation for control in the physical, mental, and spiritual world, or worlds. My work in Ahrimanic Yoga, developed first and published in Liber HVHI, demonstrates a more advanced and intense technique of control. However, it might prove to be a challenge for the basic Luciferian who doesn't have a foundation in the process of Luciferian magic. There are 4 types of yoga, basically. There's yoga of consuming, which is about eating and drinking. Luciferian must be mindful of oneself as a deity or a deific mask, that is a representation of power in question. Your mind and body is a temple. It is that manifestation of that godlike deific energy within you. So you should take care of yourself and how you eat, what you eat, and how you take care of your body. Yoga of washing, second, that's be mindful that you're cleansing yourself, not only of your weaknesses, those thoughts that bring you or restrict you, but also maintaining your body in a suitable state. Yoga of resting, resting and allowing the subconscious and conscious mind to communicate is very important. This is also the way our body kind of replenishes itself and heals itself in some ways. That is very important. And then finally, yoga of rising. Rising from rest is important. Also, those initial thoughts are important. So focus on creative, positive things that you want to do rather than the negative of, oh no, I have to get this done right now. Luciferians think differently from Christians. We don't offer ourselves over to something. We take responsibility for what I do. We don't ask some deity for strength. We find the strength within us. We may honor other deities as symbols of that strength within us, or thanking them as powers or deific masks that bring that insight to us, but we're the ones responsible. Now, if you take the Droga, which is Armenian Yutuk, this is a book on the Persian or Indo or Aryan Persian, Northern Indian concepts of the Rig Veda and the Yutukan mysteries, or the ones of sorcery. We use an adversarial map for the process of yoga. We begin for the 7 chakras. You have the traditional Muladhara chakra, and the devas, or demons of that specific chakra, are Tapriv and Zerik. Some unite them as Taramati, a demon of rebellion, a deva of rebellion. Begins in the base of the spine, and it represents timelessness, primal instinct and memory, discontentment. This is where the fire serpent takes form and is coiled to then arise. So focusing on the Muladhara chakra is very important in that sense. The Savadhisthana chakra is the second. that is around the navel area that relates to Arishma, or as the West calls it, Asmodeus. Represents a type of impassioned vigor or rage, or entering that warrior state. And that relates to reason, emotion, aggression, obtainment, lust. The Manipura chakra, relating to the ArchDaeva Nangohayatha, that's the solar plexus. Now, this is associated with one of the four hells, which are explored, called Dushvarsta, and that's evil deed. So that's action. That's what you do. It doesn't mean evil as a moralistic term, but what you do to command your power and your insight in this world matters. So think before you act. We'll get to more of that later. Rebellion, desire for command in earth and spirit, willpower. You have the fourth, and that's the Anahata chakra, and that is Indar or Andar. Indra, the heart and center. That is the war and storm god of the invading tribal Marianu, or young warriors of the Bronze Age. Indra is the storm god, relating to understanding. This is the union of the black flame with the desire of spirit. You have the fifth of the Vishuddha chakra, and that is Savar. We have throat, that's the area relating, and that's related to Dushukta, and that's evil word. That is the voice which commands, communicates, and by vibration with sound manifests the world he or she desires. Then you have the third eye, so-called Ajna chakra. That's related to the ArchDaeva Ahriman, or Akamana. That's the also related to the hell of Dushmata, evil thoughts, spiritual sight, and the evil mind, immortal consciousness, spiritual independence. This is the direct communion with your daemon, having the instinct and trusting your spiritual avenues in a subjective way to command those things you wish in the world. And then finally, you have the crown, or the horns, as I call it, the Sharasha chakra, Ahriman. That is the associated with the Anguratema, or endless darkness. It's the crown. The dragon awakened, the adversary, inspiring motivation, self-deification, and illumination, or wisdom and insight. Now, let's not get lost or caught up in the concept of the four hells at this point. We're looking at Ahrimanic Yoga, or Ahrimanic Yoga, in a basic sense of attaining control. That's the goal. This relates also to the opening towards the divine. And you are the divine, your possibility is divine. And that is the realization and goal that you continually want to reinforce with experience and insight. So the chakras have colors associated with them, and this is from the Hindu system. And notice that the Utuktanal is related in a kind of corresponding way to the Hindu system, or probably the precursor to it. You have the base chakra, the color is crimson. You have the sacral, which is vermilion. The solar plexus being blue-green. The heart is also vermilion. You have the throat, or savar, smoky purple, and then the brow is white, or the third eye. The crown itself, or the horns as I call it, would be black, because the darkness is the most beautiful, restful, and inspiring aspect which surrounds us in everything. We are gearing towards illuminating our inner light, or Malamu as I call it, the black flame, as a divine point in consciousness. Now, the chakras are associated or assigned with an element also, and this represents to some aspect the corresponding devas or archdevas as well. In a basic practice, don't worry about conflicting correspondences later or some of the higher questions with that, but basically the base is earth, Sacral is water, solar plexus is fire, heart is air, throat, akasha. The brown crown are not normally associated with that, but that would have a command of other elements associated with our transformation or self-transformation. Now, the base chakra, let's understand that's the gateway towards mastery of the earth. Now, the Sanskrit name, or Muladhara, means root, and that's the base of where we start. Now, this is the instinct of survival. It's also our inner state of stability. And it relates to our sense of smell. Now, this is a very important one because you have Tapriv and Zarek, two ArchDaevas, which represent rebellion. But they represent conquering, and one specific deva is related to the concept of poison. Poison relates to not only that which destroys its enemy or overcomes its enemy, but it's the adversarial concept of what we call poison. Poison relates to that which is transmitted from the serpent. The serpent is the bringer of wisdom. We don't look at serpents and poison as being our adversary, rather in a symbolic sense, of course. We relate to the poison as being the nectar of the adversary, the serpent, which brings us insight. And that's understanding the opposite symbolism that always are presented as devilish or demonic. Now, when you start to invoke or begin with your Ahrimanic practice, the base is very important. This is where you calm yourself. This is where you inspire your innate instinctual accountability, what your base desires are, and how to shape and guide, control these instinctual desires. So very important for any Luciferian. We have to acknowledge that we are a part of nature. And while we're on the casual or cosmic plane, if you will, this is reason, cause, and effect. It's very important to understand the laws of Belial or Ahriman as their natural laws, understanding cause and effect. If you do something, there will be a result. Some call this on a higher level karma. I think it's basic, some very basic natural reaction type concepts. There's nothing, you can't not believe in cause and effect. You can experience it. You can observe the patterns which make that. Now, our instinct or our primal desire is a part of who we are as people. And this is very important because you may have, say you're raised in a religious home, and it's so strict that they've taught you that you have to feel a certain way towards the opposite sex, or you have to resist your instincts. Well, Luciferians say no, natural instincts are important. If you're straight and you love women or the opposite sex, then you love that. If you're homosexual, you feel, then you need to embrace who you are. And finding the proper law-abiding way of experiencing that and indulging with moderation those desires, with safety, of course, being in mind. So don't restrict who you are as a sexual being. Explore it, but with responsibility and moderation. And never allow a religious person to tell you you're wrong because you have a different belief than what they possess or claim to represent. Now, this also represents in the base chakra the lycanthropic or dream-controlling aspects. This is the very basic concept of vampirism. all things come from our deep desires. So as you focus on the emergence of the base chakra and the energy rising and coiling there, you have two aspects to understand: the conquering and the adversarial instinct, the very envenomed cup which is given to your lips to drink of, and then begin the process of transformation. That's very important. The root is always found in darkness. Understand and explore that darkness. Now, concerning the actual practice of Ahrimanic Yoga, let's begin with the very basics. First of all, you should establish a pattern and work it within your schedule of practicing meditation and Ahrimanic Yoga, preferably once a day. And this should be a consistent thing that becomes a natural habit in your daily routine, no matter what if you're not doing it at home, or if you're doing it in a park, or even in the evening in front of the ritual chamber. This meditation practice, this kind of awakening the Kundalini, the fire serpent, is very important, because this is the basis for which all magic emerges. Everything you do, your initiation, your shaping the world according to your acclamation of Luciferian philosophy, all of these things begin not outside yourself, but from the essence, the discipline, and the power of control and controlled, guided thoughts, thus creating energy, spells, power towards what you're trying to achieve. The period begin with 15 minutes daily, and you may want to work up to an hour. This is something I've done for a long time, but I prefer at this point to have 15-minute intervals in my process, because I've become acclimated to it, and it's a fairly simple exercise for myself. But initially it took time, and that type of discipline is going to be demanding. Considering also that when you establish where you're going to practice, make sure you have no distractions, cell phones, people bothering you, interrupting you. All of these things, if you let those interruptions happen, it will make your practice, your spiritual development, pointless. It will not be something that has any worthwhile effect. You must control the way you think, your thoughts, the subjects which you jump to, and then by calming and directing and building energy towards thoughts that you desire as the most beneficial, then controlling the body and the flow of energy by the breaths that you take. This chi, or divine energy, this lifeblood, is directly affected by your thoughts and your ability to control. You can look at any of my grimoires, from Necrominion to Dragon of the Two Flames, Akaru, and so on. This basis of control is essential, and there's different levels and avenues to explore depending on what you're comfortable with. In establishing the base practice, I've said no distractions for a period of 15 minutes in the very least. And when you begin with the base chakra, in the early stages and eventual practice of Ahrimanic Yoga, as a consistent precursor to your magical applications and ceremonies, rituals, you're first stirring, summoning, and rising the serpent of the depths, the Kundalini, the divine, fiery, feminine, and equally the masculine or force compelling, blind power, if you will, of Samael. That's why we see Infernal Union, Samael, Lilith. These are two aspects of the serpent or dragon, if you will, that is visualized rising up through and piercing and going through and connecting the chakra centers, thus the ArchDaevas, making your body and mind a temple of the Ahrimanian or Ahrimanic manifestation. You become essentially that incarnation of a living deity. You're accountable for your future. You create your world. Nothing else can. That's the essence of being a living or a someone who is their own god or goddess. The daemon is directly associated and accelerated and expanded by this mastery of the practice of Ahrimanic Yoga. So the coiled one or curled one begins in the Muladhara Chakra, and this is at the very base. This is the beginning. You will sit with your back straight, calming your thoughts for however long it takes. A few minutes usually is a good benchmark. You will control and create a flow with your breathing. Inhale in, exhale out slowly, and control this as much as you can to still your body and then still your mind. Clear the mind. Don't think about any other practice concerning Luciferianism or anything in life. Just focus on your base chakra as a fiery, very foundation that's going to come into awakening and arise within you. Focus on Tapriv and Zarek. These are the two ArchDaevas, and also associated in a whole as Taramati. The base of the spine represents timelessness, primal instinct and memory, discontentment. You want more in life. It's just not good enough. You must have more. This could be spiritual levels of awareness, insight, power, petty things in life. This is the instinct that drives us. So, vibrating the name Tapriv, Zarik, Tapriv, Zarik. This slow, continual process of inhaling, exhaling, vibrating, creating the Staota of these two ArchDaevas, the Conqueror and the poison god, if you will, is a powerful beginning. And as you do this, visualize the serpents rising and coiling up your spine, moving into, after an acceptable awareness of this rising up through the Muladhara Chakra, that serpent, those serpents rise into the Svadhisthana Chakra. This is the ArchDaeva Aishma or Kashem, the Deva of the wounding spear. This is in the navel area, slightly below. This relates to reason, emotion, aggression. So wrath and fury, that's what Aishma means. Obtainment and carnal lust. So Aishma, with your breathing practice, focus on this fiery, spiritual and emotional, instinctual power, and how the base chakra moves and fuels the Deva Aishma. Moving on to the Manipura, visualize the serpent again. This is a continual calm practice. Have a image of the map of the Black Adept with the chakra centers, just to reach back to focus yourself in front of you. Just often the picture is suitable enough in the beginning. The Manipura chakra, and this is relating to Naung Hyatha, the solar plexus. This is rebellion, desire for command in earth and spirit. Rising up through this chakra, you're focusing on that fiery and earthly energy associated with the Manipura chakra. This aspect is very important because your breath and your focus and shifting of controlled thoughts is increasing your insight and ability to create and guide energy accordingly. Utilizing the Staota practices in Draga, use this type of breathing exercise to continue up through the Anahita chakra, and this is associated with Indra or Andar. This is the heart and center. This is the union and really kind of centering of the black flame with the desire of spirit. The two serpents are one and the same, awakening and inspiring your daemonic or deva potential as an individual, and then moving from Indra through the Vishuddha chakra, which is related to Savar, Rudra, the throat. This is the voice which commands, the vibration and command of presence, and how you intone your desires. This vibration itself illuminates the serpents, and this holds clues to the symbolism of Azidahaka or Zahak, and the twin serpents rising from the shoulder due to the kiss of Ahriman in the Shamana and various other old Persian tales, myths. The serpent dragon king, that's what the individual seeks to become, this control and guidance of that power. And then moving up, still doing Savar, you raise that energy accordingly. Now, not to go or backstep, but focusing on, as you go through each chakra, being able to trust your instincts and your practice. Don't worry about reading every book on yoga or the chakras. The basic practice must be simple, and as you go on you can expand it and get more detailed, and you'll discover all of the symbolism and the kind of syncretic ideas that all have logical associations in the practice. This will reinforce it later, but initially it must be simple, it must be direct, and it must be very focused. One example is the Anahata chakra, or relating to Indra, upon the war elephant, in his Deva mask, if you will. This is a focus on your more or less noble sense of character, or what you wish to, through habit and consistency and control of thoughts, create that character and strong, noble presence of someone who has the type of higher articulation of mind. This is the focus on that, and you'll discover the aspects of self which could take away from that. Depending on the individual, your vibration of sound and speech visualize it flowing as a stream of water or fiery energy encompassed in black smoke at your command as a manifestation, incarnation, if you will, of Ahriman. This type of practice can go really deeply into the vampiric stream of practice, which actively involves astral projection and so forth, but we're not going to get into that. The throat chakra, Vishuddha, it's a roughly smoky, like purple hue filled with slight aspects of black. And remember, darkness is our origin, and it's our instinct and comfort and our power, and not something to be feared. As you're vibrating Savar, this is the kind of voice from the ethereal plane, as a sphere and as white as the full moon. Some of the Hindu or tantric practices utilize later Hindu gods or kind of developments from their spiritual practice. This is based on the Indo-Persian or Indo-Aryan, if you will, and demonic priesthoods of the Zoroastrian period and the Bronze Age, Marianu, raiding horse warrior culture, if you will, the early Rig Veda aspects. This is in working like Savar or Rudra the storm god, the one who leads the wolf warriors, the Haumavarka, or the Haoma wolves, the ones who drink to awaken Aishma. This is an important one because you're reaching into the ethereal plane, not necessarily your astral plane, but all of those things which your mind and your daemon, if you will, control and shape your future objectively, essentially. And it's connected to all of the other aspects of nature. We look at the ethereal as a sphere, this type of thing, and it's white as the full moon. And as you expand in this ethereal sphere, you'll sort of shape and transform that white luminescence to reveal a so blazing of a fire, the black flame in its most noble manifestation. This type of practice is very important in visualizing this. And as you go through these chakras, going up to Ahriman, which is the Ajna chakra. The Ajna chakra is the third eye. This is a very important one because you are illuminating and connecting with the evil mind or your daemon, your instinctive or inherent desire. And this is a very powerful one because you're connecting and awakening all of the seven heads of the serpent, if you will, the dragon. And you're connecting them as one within yourself. The Ajna chakra is not only the unity of the elements, but the actualization of those within yourself, from the primal to the advanced. To understand the Ajna chakra, Ahriman or Ahrimana, to utilize that is at first a difficult process because this becomes a subtle awareness. It's a mastery, though. The feeling of the Kundalini awakening is is a sense of ecstasy, but also of calming, command, and control. That has to be experienced and is experienced on varying levels by the practitioner. The pure intelligence of Ahriman is the awareness of self-deification, initially on very small levels. The concept of self-deification. As you actualize it and apply your practice, then it becomes a reality in terms of what you're shaping in everyday and future thoughts, deeds, and words, decisions, all of those things in unison. So the spiritual sight and the immortal consciousness is your potential, what you perceive your greatness as. This is the awakening of your daemon or true will. And this will be a long process. It just doesn't happen once and boom, I'm ready to go. It takes time. Moving to the highest point, which can manifest, you can visualize it as horns. And this complete connection is connecting to Ahriman, the Lord or Prince of this world, the great adversary and motivator of our existence, the bringer of the black flame, the powerful primal representation of nature and the cosmos in a satanic or Luciferian sense. This is the Anagra crown, called also Anagra Tema, or endless darkness. This is the dragon awakened, the adversary, which will further push you and motivate you towards gaining wisdom via insight and experience. That, if practiced daily and a small journal kept, Ahrimanic Yoga will open not only your basis for answering a lot of questions about where do I start. This is where you start. And it will also open a gateway for your perception and understanding of initiation on any level within any of the grimoires in the Luciferian tradition. Thank you for listening to this today. I apologize. It's roughly around over 40 minutes, but this is a process to understand. Once you can do it, you can keep it to 15 minutes to a half an hour to even an hour daily in your own way. I look forward to seeing the results of each and those serious adepts who are applying this and achieving all that they desire in this life, here and now, for your future.